My question is to the Minister of Internal Affairs and reads, how is the government ensuring that New Zealand's firefighters are properly equipped and resourced to safely respond to fires happening across Aotearoa recently?
The Honourable David Seymour.
On behalf of the Minister of Internal Affairs, I answered a near identical question at great length yesterday, and I would like to refer the member to those answers. I'd also like to give thanks to the work of Fire and Emergency in New Zealand at this very difficult time, with several areas under a state of emergency with fires and severe weather. Their work is always invaluable and deeply valued by New Zealanders on a day like today.
Supplementary. Are firefighters correct when they say they have to work with equipment that consistently breaks down with no fleet replacement strategy and are right now across the country putting their safety at risk, protecting our communities from severe weather?
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Internal Affairs, I don't believe that statement is correct. The government in the last 2 years has seen FENZ introduce an asset management plan which had not been put in place for some reason between 2017 and 2023 after FENZ was formed from the voluntary and professional wings of New Zealand's firefighting. The replacement schedule for fire appliances I traversed in detail yesterday, but the government currently has, I believe, 78 appliances on order. They tend to take 18 to 24 months to deliver because they're highly specialised equipment. 5 of those are aerial. In total, FENZ is spending around 20 to 25 million each year on upgrading fire appliances.
Supplementary. Is it correct that in the past year, the fire truck appliance servicing provider has done 446 emergency call-outs, more than one a day, due to breakdowns of the ageing fleet?
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Internal Affairs, I don't have verification of that exact figure in front of me, but it may well be true. There are thousands of fire appliances in New Zealand, and of course, if there was to be one call-out for a breakdown each day, then that's something perhaps the member could imagine.
Supplementary. Is it correct that the state of the fire appliance is dire and failing, leaving firefighters stranded on the way to calls, at station, or even at incident without water while internal firefighting?
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Internal Affairs, no, that characterisation is not correct. I've been advised that, for example, there has only been one recent breakdown which led to a 2-minute delay in getting to a fire. That's in the past several months at least. So I think the characterisation of routine breakdowns in danger is simply not sustainable. I do note that due to current industrial negotiations, there appears to be a concerted campaign by some in the fire service, and particularly the PFU, to try and emphasise any incident and present it as being routine, when in fact that characterisation is not true. Is that it?
Question number 2, the Honourable Carmel Cipollone.
To the Prime Minister, does he stand by all his government's statements and actions?
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable David Seymour.
Mr. Speaker, yes, and I would particularly like to reference the efforts of our Minister for Children, Karen Chua, in improving the safety of children and residents. That has come down 14% in the last 2 years. It's the first time that there has been a reduction of harm to children in state care, as we understand it, in the country's history. That is really quite an achievement, and a poignant one, in the wake of the Royal Commission, which laid bare the history of brutality that has affected so many people and damaged them for life. This is very good news, and it has come because of a precise and deliberate set of actions by the Minister to improve the quality of staffing, to require staff to wear uniforms, to crack down on contraband, for example, by requiring staff to have clear bags so that they couldn't smuggle contraband in, by proactively managing behaviour in the sites, All of this has led to a 14% reduction in young people being harmed. That is really fixing what matters and a good example of what the Labor Party should be thinking about.
Supplementary. Does he stand by his statement, quote, "We're ready to meet with the unions at any time," end quote? If so, why is Fire and Emergency New Zealand refusing to turn up to scheduled bargaining with the Professional Firefighters Union?
Mr. Speaker, I certainly do stand by that statement, and I understand that within 10 minutes of me answering a question on behalf of another minister yesterday, the Professional Firefighters Union got back in touch wanting... I was so effective at answering the question, praising these backbone firefighters, that they decided they did want to come back to the table 10 minutes after I answered the question. That's very effective question answering, I have to say.
Supplementary. Why do government board members deserve an 80% pay rise while teachers get an effective pay cut?
Mr. Speaker, the government's intention is that when we have serious large assets, for example, I refer to Pharmac, that is something that spends $2 billion a year nearly on medicines for sick New Zealanders. Now, we want to ensure that the governance, the board of that agency, are paid at a rate that is at least almost comparable to what the same directors would get for private sector companies. And there's a real contradiction for the Labor Party here, is that they want the state to do more. They want more government agencies to do more stuff, to invest in video games, to start sovereign wealth funds, and yet they don't want to pay the people directing these proposed entities, or even the current ones, even nearly as much as directors get in the private sector. That had to be rectified. In relation to teachers, in the last 3 years, there has been a 14.5% increase in pay for teachers. That is a lot more than many of the New Zealanders who are paying the taxes, making arrangements today around the strikes to have someone look after their kids. It's a lot more than they've got lately, and for that reason, the government needs to balance the interests of Kiwis. There needs to be a sense of realism and a connection between those who are paying the taxes and those who are receiving money from the taxpayer.
Supplementary. Why do tobacco companies deserve $300 million while nurses are being offered an effective pay cut?
Mr. Speaker, it is simply a mischaracterisation for the Labor Party to say that tobacco companies have been given $300 million. That simply has not happened. What the government has done is said if there is a nicotine-based product that is safer, that has less impact on people's health and less impact on the health system, then it should be taxed in proportion to the amount of harm done. Now, the opposition know this because when they were in government, they said there should be zero tax on vapes because they too subscribe to the principle, although the problem is they don't know it because they wouldn't know a principle if they tripped over one.
Supplementary. Why is he willing to spend $44,000 on a helicopter trip for his Instagram, the equivalent of 9 months' base salary for the firefighters he is offering an effective pay cut to?
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, this is the problem. You see, the relationship between New Zealand and Australia is one of, if not the most important relationship between two countries anywhere in the world. That's why we have a meeting and actually invest in our relationship between the New Zealand Prime Minister and the Australian Prime Minister. But the Labor Party, what is it? It was for Instagram. You see, that's why they think people do politics, for Instagram. And that is the problem with the Labor Party today. That is why they're over there and we adults are over here.
Supplementary. Should New Zealand workers, doctors, nurses, teachers and firefighters accept a pay rise below inflation, yes or no?
Mr. Speaker, you'll be, on behalf of the Prime Minister, the Speaker will tell you that you cannot demand yes or no answers. The simple fact is that this government is balancing the needs of New Zealanders as patients as taxpayers, as public health workers. We have to balance all of these, and the offers that have been put on the table are designed to do that, to bring people together and connect the needs and the means of New Zealanders with the demands and the pressures from union organisers.
How can he complain about doctors, firefighters, nurses and teachers' unions not acting in good faith when he is threatening to limit their ability to strike because they won't settle for pay rises that don't even match inflation?
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Prime Minister, yesterday the Prime Minister was asked about this precise matter and said he was not aware that that's what the government's doing. So again, this is misinformation from the opposition.
Supplementary. Why is he not willing to negotiate with teachers, firefighters and nurses about fair pay, but is willing to negotiate a rates rebate on his $10.5 million mansion?
Well, Mr Speaker, a couple of things about that. First of all, the Prime Minister is absolutely willing to negotiate with the unions. In fact, the government has been saying through the PSC that we are prepared to meet and work through the weekend to get a deal to avoid these strikes. The government is here making the offers, trying to get the public service back to work in order that people can be served and we can make a balanced budget on behalf of New Zealanders for all of our economic future. Now, the comment about the Prime Minister's personal capacity and his personal residence, there's no responsibility for that except to say that there is a tone that if someone's worked hard all their life and done well, they should be dragged down, that they should be embarrassed about their success and having a nice place on Waiheke. Well, actually, on this side of the House, we say that success is a good thing and tall poppy is bad.